Okay, so my math lab, keep getting out of student view when I do this. There we go. So like I said, you can go through here through homework, or you can click right on the assignment. Either way, you have to continue to the other next window. But just want to point out a few things about your homework. So as you see, this is like I got partially correct, completely wrong. A full check mark means it was 100%. So if I start an assignment, I can always resume it. I'll just kind of show you here. So this first one, it's asking me slope. So I'm going to purposely put in the wrong answer just so you know why I'm doing this. So I put in my answer and I check answer. It'll tell me if it's wrong and it'll try to give me a little hint as to what happened. And then when I get done, of course, it tells me I did well. So this one I'm going to really mess up. So I can keep checking answers. So that was one attempt on the second part, 2 attempts on the second part. This is my third attempt. So you notice it says final check. At that point, what it's going to do is it's going to show me the correct answer here. If I click on it, it shows me what I put in. So you are not locked out of the problem. You have infinite attempts at these problems because this is a lot of mostly for practice for you. You can go and go, I want a similar question. And what's going to do, it's going to restart everything for you. You'll get something that's similar though. And now you see, oh yeah, I got the question all the way done. So things to point out down here. Let me click on that again. So you see down here, it says, help me solve this. So I've seen a lot of times in the past, because it does this, it starts explaining the problem. I click continue and it's like, oh, it's trying to explain to me how am I going to do this. So this part here is showing me, oh, well, I need to figure out, how do I solve for y here? Okay, I like that part. It'll just keep you kind of walking through the problem. Well, actually, kind of solved right there. This does not solve the problem for you, even though it says help me solve it. It's kind of giving you some walkthrough steps, but you're still going to have to type your answer in here. So don't think because you put answers and help me solve this that it's coming up in your question. It is not. You still have to come back to the actual question and enter in your answers. You can also view an example. So this will give you something similar, kind of go through how we're going to solve this problem. And the other thing you have is get more help. So sometimes there's more things in here for some problems. Sometimes it's just like a textbook. This is textbook and a video. There might be some applets. I'm trying to remember now. I don't know if it's this book or not. But what's important here is, like I said, it's extra things to help you, but also there's Ask My Instructor. So what this is for is if you have a problem you're not getting and you're trying to figure it out, if you hit that, you'll see it goes right to my email. It tells me what the question was. So I can click on it. It'll take me right to the question you were working on. So I believe, unless they changed it, what it usually does is it gives me the problem that you were working on. If you go give me a similar question and you start over something with new numbers, that's not what's going to show me. But what you can do here is just kind of, I would say, kind of explain what it is you're not getting. Like maybe this one here, you're getting the slope correct, your y-intercept is not correct. So just kind of give me just a little hint of what's going on here. Because when you just send these to me blankly, I sometimes really struggle to figure out what it is you are struggling with. So just a little help will just get me to give you the, kind of get you on the right course. But I hit send, and you see it will send it to me. Okay. And like I said, you don't have to do questions in any particular order. You can just do whatever you feel like doing. Also over here, just to point out, there was a little extra bit about settings. So like using keyboards, accessibility. The one I probably find most people are interested in is printing. So if you wanted to, you could always print these assignments if so that makes it easier for you to work on them. Also over here, I'll print it for you as well. As you see, I can't get anywhere here. I'll go to modules, I'm not home. You can also, like I said, go through like all assignments or homework. So if you do that, it'll show me, like what the score was. It should show your, well, I didn't submit it completely because I didn't finish it. Attempts, time limits, but you can always, like I said, get back into assignments. But it gives you due dates over here on the side. And like I said, if I was still working on it, I can go back and I can just go back in and resume the problem that I was, or the assignment I was working on. Oops. Okay. And then just one thing to point out here also. So yes, you do have a course home. So that will show you things, like your calendar here and assignment due dates. Some of your assignments down here, there's not a lot in here. I don't usually use it or find it useful. But the other thing is your textbook is in here. So I did show you a little bit of this, but there was one other part of this thing in the textbook I just wanted to point out to you. So you bring up your textbook. So you go to table of contents. So that first section that we were doing was 2.5. So notice I have to open the whole chapter. And then I can go directly to that section that I'm working on. But also another thing you have here is you can go through. So I have to keep clicking this to keep going to the next page. You can also like bookmark a page. So then it shows up in your bookmarks. And there's videos. So these are videos related to your section. So I always like to point out, because sometimes, like my video is not doing it for you, just need to see it done by somebody else. Those are available for you so you can see these problems done again by somebody else. All right. And that is pretty much it for your MyMathLab. It's pretty easy to understand. If you have troubles with it or something's not working, just let me know. There's, it's technology. Sometimes things don't want to work out right. Like I said, this just first thing I want you to do when you start in this class, preferably, is like get into MyMathLab, make sure MyMathLab's working. And you should not have to use a code. If it asks you for a code or for a payment, there is something wrong and you need to let me know right away.